This term we're going to look at the world of 3D. Now, for my money, 3D is one of the most exciting areas that you can get involved with if you are a computer science or a computing student. In the future, when you start looking at employment, you will find that there are also a lot of jobs in this, and every year there seems to be a new emerging market that looks at new technology revolving around the world of 3D. Today we're just going to touch on a few of the industry areas that you can get involved with right now. As we move through this course, we will be using some very simple tools, so don't expect too much, but it will be simple tools to model some houses and model some other things. So let's look at what you can get involved with if you choose a pathway of 3D. So why would you want to learn 3D? Now, there are so many industries within this area that it's unreal, really. And if you think 3D has really only been around for it's probably more like 30 years, but really and truly in its capacity as something that's tangible, probably only 20 years. One of the first emerging markets for 3D was 3D graphics. So you've got people like Pixar making films like Toy Story. So that was one of the first areas you can get involved with. Since then, you have things like architecture, where they use CAD drawings to get into 3D, where they can actually mock up whole cities and give you an aspect ratio and a scale ratio of everything that goes on. Within the engineering field on its own, there's a lot of opportunities for 3D people and people that understand the tools behind 3D. So as we said before, you can look at you can look at architecture, you can look at mechanics, you can look at structure, or you can even look at product design within this area. The next obvious area is game development. So game development started off, in the 3D world, just on the consoles, and pretty much, unless you own some pretty hardcore hardware, you were never going to be able to get into game development. But pretty much now, most computers will run software that will allow you to make 3D games, which is great. One of my favorite game projects for 3D is Godot. We've done a few videos on this channel to kind of have a look at. But if you want to make assets for 3D games or even architecture or engineering, another free project that I really like is Blender 3D, and you can look at that. So within game development, we're now looking, and we're at 2019 at the moment, but we're looking at things like virtual reality and augmented reality. Over the next 5, 10, 15 years, this is where the industry is definitely going now. You're seeing some wireless headsets emerging. You're seeing lots of really fantastic games like Pokemon Go that allow you to interact with the world around you, which is brilliant. The next emerging market, and this is probably only about 10 years old, and that's 3D printing, where if you make a 3D model, you can now print it on a printer at home for almost no money. I mean, I think the 3D printers now range from about £1,500. In our school, we've got about 6 of these, which is great. As said before, you've also got motion graphics and motion design, so making films or making adverts and things like that. One of the emerging markets that I'm most interested in is the scientific and real-world simulations. So looking at how physics works, or looking at how medical simulations happen, where you can actually use 3D models to kind of simulate the working body. And it's amazing. You can go so much further with this. So throughout this project, we're going to be using a program called Sketchup, which is a very easy to understand project or piece of kit, and it's web-based. And it's just to give you a grounding in some modeling techniques and just get you used to using 3D software. If you want to take these skills further, the next step would be something like Blender 3D, which is also a free piece of software, open source. And if you want to go into game development or simulations, the next piece of software that you might want to look at is Godot. So in the next video, we'll get started with SketchUp and we'll just learn some 3D techniques. So I'll see you there.